Hello, everybody. It is the 10th of January, 2024. Welcome back to Change the Shed. I am so happy you all are here. I'm so happy that I am here. Um, as some of you know, I moved last fall, and the internet situation in the new house has been a bit dicey. So it's mostly sorted out now. I'm still relying on Wi-Fi instead of an Ethernet cable, but hopefully all will be fine with the Wi-Fi. The router is right there, so I think it should work fine. Always on these broadcasts, if I go away, I will be back. But I think that this will be much better than it was the last time we tried Change the Shed. So we should be good going forward. Welcome back. And it's so good to see everybody showing up in the comments. And I know it's been a while now. It feels like I think it's been a couple months. So happy to be back. The next Change the Shed will be on the 31st of January. That is 3 weeks from now, because I'm going to be away teaching next week. I'm going to Taos again. So I'm sure if you follow social media, I'm sure you'll see pictures of Taos. Always fun to go back there. So I have a retreat that I'm teaching with Jillian Moreno, the spinner. We're doing a spinning for tapestry weaving retreat, and boy, it's going to be fun. If y'all know Jillian, she's just so great. Okay, so welcome you all. Sybil's here from Switzerland. Hey, Sybil. Janice from Portland. Mary Lou's from Massachusetts. Betsy from Kansas City. Julia's here from Germany. Margareta from Sweden. Karen's here from Massachusetts. Hilly's here from the Netherlands. Oh my gosh, you guys are showing up from Europe and Scandinavia. Thank you. Just so awesome. Kirkland, Paula's here from Vermont. Nan's here from New York. Yeah, Nan says the move has been a good one. It has been a good one. I now live in southwestern Colorado, which is very close to where I grew up. So I'm really thrilled to be back here. It's I think I didn't anticipate how inspiring as an artist it would be to move back home. Feels like I came back home. So I'm enjoying it so much. I just feel this huge sense of relief being off of the Front Range. The Front Range of Colorado is an amazing place. There's so much going on there, but it's a lot for me. And I'm happy to be somewhere much quieter. Yeah, it's been a good move. Thanks, Nan. Johnette, speaking of the Front Range, is here from Wheat Ridge. That's in Denver. So that's another busy place. Jean is here from Texas. Erin from Kansas. Deborah's here from North Carolina. Carol's here. Yes. Ottawa. Hi, Christine. Erin. Candy from the UK. I'm going to get your name wrong. I certainly won't say this right. Liliana from Serbia. Welcome. That's fantastic. Just love getting people from all over the world. It's really, really fun to just feel like I could connect with people from very different places, far away places. Tapestry is weaving is sort of a universal language, isn't it? So it's a really fun thing to connect. And Jessica's here from Illinois. I'm so happy y'all are here. Summer's here from California. Woohoo! Hey, Summer. Yes. So like I said, next Change the Shed, January 31st, that's 3 weeks away. I have a calendar page on my website, which is tapestryweaving.com. Under online learning, there's a calendar page, and that is where I'm putting when the next Change the Shed will be. So some of you have been very kind in correcting my errors. Also, I think I had the date wrong for this week, and I really appreciate it when people let me know that I have screwed something up. So that's great. That's where you'll check where the next one is, or there'll always be an upcoming thing on YouTube. Sally from Wisconsin, Nancy from Baltimore, Susan's here. Welcome, everybody. Yes, so I usually have some announcements or things to say. I just want to mention that I have done quite a lot of weaving in the last month, but it's all for the Tapestry Discovery box. The quarter box is coming up, so I can't show you those. And the piece I was going to work on today, I realized it's going to take a bit of a deep dive in my yarn attic to find the yarn I need for it. So hopefully by the 31st, I will have the yarn for that piece. So the piece I'm showing you today is one you have seen many times. It's almost done. I think with 2 focused hours, this piece could be finished, but I wasn't up for a deep dive at midnight into the yarn attic. My last house had a yarn basement. This house has a yarn attic. Really nice to have a little bit of storage. So the Tapestry Discovery box opens on the 15th. And here I'm going to show you, this is what I've been working on. We're doing eccentric weaving. It's so fun. This is the most fun I've had in a long time weaving something. I thought it was so great. Anyway, it's a whole box about weaving eccentrically, and it's going to be really a lot of fun. These are the colors for the next box. So you can still sign up for that, or those of you who already get it, it'll be coming next week. They ship on the 15th, and the course opens on the 15th, which is, I think, Monday. Okay, so then the other thing I'm doing, let me see if I can find my thing. I'm doing Design Solutions Season 2 live right now. So if you're interested in having some support in designing for Tapestry, the live run of the class only happens the last time I did it was 3 years ago. So, because I do other classes, I can really only do 1, maybe 2 live classes a year. So if you're interested, I popped in a few comments from people just from taking Design Solutions over the years. I need to watch all segments again. I'm very much these were responses to a question I asked them about what did you like about the class. Very much a beginner, and I'm totally devoid of ideas. Each segment gave me something, a little spark of an idea, and I really like that because a spark of an idea can take you a long way. These were also from a survey that was anonymous, so I don't have names on them. For me, it was learning about the steps in the design process and learning about color theory, then seeing how tapestry artists put these things into practice. The class has a bunch of interviews with professional tapestry artists, and there's a panel interview with some upcoming professional, I guess I would call them, 2 of them at least now, professional tapestry artists. So really fun to hear as you're getting into the art form what your experience is. Each module brings a new subject already curated, which is an attention and time saver. So that is another thing about the class. The whole class is great, and I loved all the interviews. The biggest learning for me was weaving the letters. I never thought of text as shape, and having that concept is really formative. So having those little things of like, oh, okay, those little moments of linking the importance of technical aspects of tapestry weaving with the design process, illustrating the variety of approaches to design and design possibilities and styles. So the class is all about figuring out how to think like a tapestry weaver. The exercise solidified the content. Problem solving, it's all about problem solving. How do you fix all the things? That's what we're doing on Change the Shed, is a lot of problem solving. If you go to my website under online learning, you'll see all the things. Okay, let's do some weaving. More information about the classes, what all the things is. Gosh, okay. Oh, Catherine, welcome. My first time live. Thank you for the welcome back. Yes, and someone else from Wisconsin, first time live. Oh, I'm glad you got my book for Christmas. How fun. Jessica uses live captioning, and when I was talking about the Tapestry Discovery Box, it said Tattoo Discovery Box. So I've also heard it called the Disco Box, so I kind of like that. The Tapestry Discovery Box is our disco box. The current DS2, does it have anything new from 3 years ago? There probably will be some new things, but if you already purchased the class, just let me know and you can get into the live run. So just email me if you want access to that. That's not a big, if you've already purchased it, you don't need to purchase it again. All right, so let me show you what I'm weaving. You guys, you've seen this many times, but it has some good lessons and we've had a break from it. This is my American Dipper tapestry. It was supposed to be an example for the people in the Summer of Tapestry 2023 class. So that tells you when I started it. Here it is. And it's not that much farther along from when you saw it last. But yeah, I'm not even going to make any promises about when I'm going to finish this thing. Let's see. Sometimes the picture can help. Let me put this up here. Can help people who need to read lips, but okay. So good morning, Sarah from Idaho. All right, so let me show you, those of you who need a recap on the Dipper tapestry. American Dippers are little songbirds that are aquatic and they dive into the water and they're amazing. And as part of Tapestry Summer of Tapestry 2023, I was talking about, I did a lot of tapestries about birds, didn't I? This was about motion, and so they dive in and out of the water. So this is feelings about water, and then they have a little dance where they like jump up and down. I probably shouldn't try to dance on YouTube. Here's the design. I'm right up here, and these are color areas, which are just approximate. I need to put in the last little white thing here, and then we'll switch to other colors. This part will be somewhat simpler just because we're just shifting some colors. And then over here, there'll be a little bit more pick and pick, which I have not started to put in, but I'm about ready for that. This tapestry has been super fun to weave, and I would apologize for it not being done, but it won't do any good. So let's fill in this little, one more little bit of white curve. So I've done the white pieces eccentrically, and that seems funny because I'm doing a whole discovery box about weaving eccentrically, but I'm filling in all the spaces. Unlike in that box, in this case, I'm filling in the spaces with horizontal weft so that the tapestry stays flat, hopefully, when it comes off the loom. So this is woven eccentrically, which means it's woven as a curve, and then I did go over it with the green to smooth that out a little, but now I'm weaving perpendicularly. And I'm gonna fill in this little shape wherever I'm gonna put that curve. Let's see, where is it? Oh, it's pretty small, okay. Let's just build up our little hill and then we'll put in our curve. Paula, that's funny you asked that. You were reading my mind when I was talking about that. This is in the Tapestry Discovery box for this quarter, January. I will be talking about this kind of eccentric weaving a little bit. There's a video about eccentric outlines, which is basically what these are. And then the purpose of this box is to, first of all, have fun. It is so much fun to weave that way. And also to help you understand how weaving eccentrically, where's the edge? How far can you push it if you want your tapestry to still be flat? Or what happens if you just let it go and then when you take it off like that? I haven't filmed that last video of cutting off the finished piece, but that will be one of the videos where we'll see what happens when you take a eccentrically woven piece, which is something, I'm talking about something where the whole thing is eccentric, like this, where I've woven, over, instead of weaving perpendicular, I've woven over and back. And so that will buckle when I take it off the loom. But it's going to be, it should be super fun. It's so much fun to weave that way. And I'll be talking about artists like Sylvia Hayden, who wove eccentrically, and some of her ideas too. So sorry, I was going to let this go, but because I was talking, You see this little blip on the selvage. I can't stand leaving it there. I just didn't pull my selvage turn quite tight enough there, which is super picky. But some of those things you can fix off the loom with a needle. You can just sort of pull in some loose things if it's just one little bit of yarn. So okay, and maybe, no, I guess I'll go like this. This is, Jessica asked if this is a Murex. This is the Murex Big Sister, but it's warped. This is a fringeless 4-selvage warp. That's why it looks like this down here. This is the beginning of the fringeless warp, and this is the end, so the tapestry will be this high. And this is supplemental. That's why it's orange. It's fly line backing. And yeah, this is, I love this because this will come off the loom without any fringe or finishing needed to be done. So Sarah Sweat is a master of this, and she and I did a class 2018 now. It's been I was gonna say 5 years, but is it 6 years? Oh my goodness. We did this class, it was so much fun. Anyway, it's called Fringeless 4-selvage warping with Sarah Sweat. If you're interested in this, it is such a fun class. Okay, I've lost my little piece of white. Oh dear. You see what happens when you talk? You lose your bits. Okay, I'm gonna have to make a new bit. So I'm gonna use white. I've been using that for these. The ones in the middle are pure white. This is just array yarn, but you can kind of see down here that this has a little tinge to it. It's this lime 5. So I'm adding a little bit of this. I'm gonna put 1 strand of the lime and 2 strands of the white. And I had it prepped somewhere, but I don't know where it went. My dog will find it later. Oh yes, Karen, I found the cone of white array. That's what happened the last time, right? That I couldn't find this cone. I did find it later. Here's the follow-up story. I couldn't find this cone of white when I needed it last time. It had fallen off the table and landed in a bag of other stuff. And of course, I didn't think to look there. The studio is still somewhat in disarray. And I have huge windows. You can see behind me, this is a window shade. Hopefully this will work. The light is better, but sometimes it's too much. There's a lot of sunshine. We'll see how it goes. Okay, cool. Oh, Sal's doing great. Thanks, Summer. So our little tiny dog Sal had her little spay surgery this week. And she was pretty rough the first night, but she's pretty much, she seems happy to be alive again. So I think she's fine. She's still getting a little bit of pain medicine, but she seems okay. She is playing, and it's hard to keep her quiet. So that tells you how well she's doing. Yeah, Sarah says, seems like ages ago that we did this, that we did the fringeless class. Also, just that's how I feel about it. Seems like ages ago, but also just yesterday. Fringeless never goes out of style, right? Oh, it's so great. And Lori says her UPS driver is bringing her new Eris loom. I still say Eros. I feel like it should be Eros, but Shacked does say it Eris. It's a Shacked tapestry loom that is lovely. I have every intention of getting my Eris or Eros out of, I took it apart for moving, but once I finish the mystery piece that I mentioned I couldn't find the yarn for in my yarn attic, I will get a piece going on the Eros again. And well, you know what? I'm gonna do a little eccentric thing over the top of this. Just make sure it stays smooth. So our last little bit of white on this side. It's been a while since I picked the shed on an upright loom, so my fingers are fumbling. I pick the shed a lot on my small lap looms, but I use a shed stick. Okay, there we go. Back to level. Whoops. I also haven't figured out the lights very well here, so I know my hand is causing shadow, and I'm hoping my head stays out of the camera. Okay, great. So we've got our last little bit of white on that side, and we've got, I don't know what possessed me to make shapes like this, but I just wanted the little colors to sort of blend. So we're gonna make some little shapes between the new color, which is a list here, and the one I'm currently doing. Let's see. Wonder if we can get there today. There's that. My dots like to turn. Okay. Let's see. Maybe I'll fill in, I have on this side, let's fill that in before we do the center part. I have 3 more little bits of white, hopefully, to go in here. And then after that, the hardest thing is this pick and pick. And then we're just mixing colors for the rest of it. So I'm psyching myself up to get this one done. So let's do the same thing with that little bit of white. And I am gonna add, no, I'm gonna do just white for this one, and then I will add some lime, and I'm gonna make this one long enough to do 2. I'll make the last one with lime and the first 2 with just white. Hi, welcome Marlena. Happy you're here. Let's see. It's a tiny little one. Let's make it 5 warps wide. Maybe I'll do it. The sheds are going to be fine. Let's do it with just 1. Like this. Welcome Elaine from the UP of Michigan. Such a beautiful place, the UP. Okay. This is eccentric weaving, so I want it to follow a little curve. And I'm just going to end it here so my shed stay. And then this tail should be long enough to do the next one with. I think these mixes are, yeah, they're a little bit different. They're this one's a little lighter, so let's bring that over. This, yeah, Summer says the warp is tight. This is, I hadn't worked on this since you all saw it last until yesterday. And it was tighter. It had loosened up. The cotton warp will loosen up. It wasn't horribly loose, but I tightened it, and I had to loosen it a little bit this morning. It's still a little bit tight. I like it pretty tight though. I used to have it tighter. It used to be so tight it would make my fingers bloody. Okay, I want these two. Is that right? Yeah. I want these two over here to mix a little bit. We'll do a little hatching. Oh, sure. Thanks, Nan. Thank you for reminding me that this is in the way. Here, let's take this off and do that. Okay. So before I forget that I want these colors to mix, let's put this one in. The other one is even shorter. That one was 5 wide. I think this one will just be 4. Let's put a wrap there and see if it'll. Okay. Oh yeah, I said I was going to use the tail from the last one, and one of the cool things about doing fringeless on a Mirex or any loom is that it's only one layer of weaving, so I can actually look at the back and find what I need. All right, let's just do let's do that. And let's use this color to smooth that out a bit. Is that focusing for you guys? Let me just look. Oops. Wrong button. Okay. Kathleen says she finished her curve piece from the last Tapestry Discovery box. I was doing a lot of this kind of weaving in that box. That's the one from October. Learned a lot about outlining and weaving small shapes. Cool. I'm glad that was a good one, Kathleen. It was called Shape Building. And just will let you sign up for past boxes. They'll ship you the yarn and everything if you want something I've done in the past. Okay. If I would just slide my fingers up, there is an open shed. Okay. There's this little guy. And then I have one more. That's the last white outline. And fortunately, this will be red. And fortunately, that will be after I do the outline, so it'll be easier to weave. Yes, Anne says if the next change of shed is January 31st, it'll be a 2 Rebecca day for the students in design 2. It's true. That's also a day I'm doing live Q&A, I think, for design solutions. Just building up this little curve. I need to I'll try to figure out another light for the other side for next time, because I think it would help to have a light over here. Actually, it would be nice if it was cloudy, because could have that shade open and the light's quite good. Not that I'm complaining about the sunshine, universe. We are supposed to get more snow tomorrow, so we've had quite a lot of snow here. Yeah, Janet asked, can you tell us about the little twist you do with the yarn and why? I definitely, so you've noticed that I tend to do this when I put it in instead of, you can definitely put the yarn bundle in just like this, but the reason you see me twisting it is because I have, you know, different colors in the bundle. And so if you twist them, you'll get a little bit more mixing. It just looks different. If you put them in without twisting like this and just beat them in as they come, that's what most people do. It's just that for such a tiny piece, I kind of want the colors to blend. So I just been mixing them, like twisting them a little bit as I lay them in to mix them more. Okay, great question. Let's put that last white one in, and this one I do need. I want pure white on this one. This is the Rogue cone of yarn. After that happened, I actually had ordered another cone of white from Gist, because I was like, I can't lose the white. Okay, cool. Let's do this one like we did the last one. This curve. Bring it all the way down to there. It's a little bit steep, so I want to be careful. Bring in enough weft, and we'll see if it covers. We'll be talking about that a lot in this Tapestry Discovery box. The one for January coming up. Oh, that's a great question, Nan. What does the blue tape say? Yeah, that's not going to focus. There we go. Curve. So when I did this cartoon, this is an interesting way to organize your yarn, actually. When I did this cartoon, I made these little lists of what yarns I wanted in each area, and there's a lot of different colors. And so I went through and I put little blue pieces of blue tape on the cones and tubes. To remind myself, I labeled what the color areas were, and that way I can find, it helps a lot to be able to find the yarns. And then I'll just take those tapes off, and they'll end up in, you know, a bin for another project. So I tend to do, I have like one of those, I use these a lot, those, they're cardboard fabric kinds of little bins you can get at Target or Walmart or whatever. And they fold flat when you're not using them, but I will open one up and put the yarn for a project. And if it's a small loom, I'll put the loom right in it. And then I can keep track of what yarn I'm using. But the tape also helped for this one. Helps me locate the yarns quicker. All right. I think that's going to work. We'll find out. Let's see. I don't want to get into the weeds with the pick and pick right now, although y'all might want me to do that. But I know this is going to come across, so I'm going to put this across that red just to hold it together. And that is right there. Okay. Let's bring this over the top to smooth this out again. And of course I'm going to need more yarn. I'm going to go to a darker. So I've got some olive colors here, and I had this lighter one in the last mix, and I'm going to go to 2 darker ones, plus there's an indigo in there. And I might even bump up the, let's see. No, I'll use this indigo 4 and 2 olives. It's really fun to play with how colors mix. I'm going to attempt to splice this on this curve, even though it's steep. Ah, Elizabeth, awesome. Just, she's from Connecticut, just ordered your book and made myself a pipe loom, hooray! Ordered her warp, and now you just have to warp the thing. I think I have instructions for 2 different ways of warping a pipe loom in my book. I hope that's right. You know, it's been a while since I wrote that thing now. It is, when did it come out? November of 2020. So more than 3 years. It's in its 3rd printing also, which I'm very thrilled about. Talking about the art of tapestry weaving, which I actually usually have next to me when I do this, but I don't have it today. Okay, so that's eccentric, but now I need to fill all of this in regularly. And I will need to redo the dots here, which this would help if you all could see where these are. They're just an approximation in this case. The colors are close and it doesn't really matter if they, I mean, you can sort of see the forms down here, but they don't have to be exact. Yeah, that's true. VJ said twisting also adds a textural dimension, raising the yarn slightly. That is true. That's a really good point. It can change the bead of the tapestry, the bead of the, every time the weft goes over a warp, it creates, some people call it a bead. And so yeah, how that looks and how it reflects light does change with how you manage the materials. Materials management. There's several videos about that in the design solutions class that's opening now, because how you use your materials is really important. How you choose your materials, how you use them has a big impact on the look of your tapestry. We think, oh, I just need a green yarn. It can be any green yarn. The materials you choose make a big difference in what it looks like. Some wefts are really shiny, like Weaver's Bazaar is super shiny, bright. lovely yarn. I love Weaver's Bazaar yarn. This array is a little bit more matte than the Weaver's Bazaar. It's not spun quite as tightly, but I also really like this yarn. You could use those two yarns together, Weaver's Bazaar and Array. They work really well together. I don't recommend beginners do that, but if you've been weaving for a little bit. Okay. Christine. Oh my God. She said it might be time for a second book. I have been thinking about it. Not have a few ideas. Let's just say that. I will never write a book as complicated as The Art of Tapestry Weaving again. I don't think. It was a big project, but I think it would be fun to write another book. Okay, so now I can't remember which indigo I put in over here. I think it was this one, so let's use that one again. This is indigo 4. Really love the indigos. They're almost gray, but they have blue in them. Just a really nice palette addition, and you can really shift colors a lot using a hue like this. Let's use up some more of this. Let's not waste so much yarn. Although fortunately the sheep are making more all the time. And the wool industry needs us to buy it for fine art. So that's how you can justify buying more yarn. You see how my brain works? I don't want the yarn industry to go under. I better buy some more yarn. I'm excited to be making tapestry yarn this coming week in our retreat. So if it goes well, we'll do it again. Those of you who are spinners, we'll see more of us. We need to get Sarah Sweat to weigh in on the spinning for tapestry, as that is her expertise, one of many. Okay, I have so much fun doing this. I'm just weaving. I'm gonna absolutely lose track of time here, but let's see. What did Lori say that I missed? Oh, thank you, Lori. You're so sweet. This is really a sweet. Thank you for all your fabulous YouTube videos, love it, and blogs, incredible classes, and overall pleasant, kind, encouraging, inspiring self. Aw, thanks for making my day. It's a joy to explore all you've given. Thank you. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate that. You made my day. And that brings me back to, I missed Candy's question. If you're going to sew the ends in at the end, does it mean you don't have to do pigtails? I use pigtails. Oh, that's a big question, but I do use pigtails sometimes for design reasons and sometimes for securing the yarn. A pigtail will often add an extra weft around a warp, and sometimes design-wise you don't want them. But yes, I don't worry about it as much because most of the time I secure my tails by stitching them in. You can also, there are other ways to do it, especially if you're using hand spun or something. Sarah Sweat does this all the time. She has a really cool PDF called Tucking the Tails. If you go to her website, which is a field guide to needlework.com, she has a little PDF you can download called Tucking the Tails. Not little, it's fantastic, with drawings and stuff. Anyway, she has a method of doing it where you pull the tails all the way into the weaving, and it's fabulous. It works for lots of wools. It would work for array. It works for hand spun, of course. It works for any wool that's grabby. So I don't paint my cartoon, Elizabeth. This is my cartoon. It's just a drawing. I drew this in pencil, and then I probably went over it with pen, and then I don't know if this is the original. This might be the original. I usually make a couple photocopies in case I lose it or something. Sometimes I'll even scan it in case I lose it. But most of my cartoons look like that. They're just line drawings, and the colors, sometimes I will try colors in a sketchbook I often use colored pencils, sometimes watercolor, just to test out some things. But then for a very large tapestry, I will do a sampler. Like I'll have another loom next to my big loom where I'm sampling the yarns and I'm trying the mixes, because that's the best way for me to figure out color. It's different. Using color in tapestry is different than painting, obviously. So doing some swatches of the yarns you have and how they look when they're mixed, I think is important, depending on the piece. Kathleen asked, when you hand spin yarn for tapestry, do you wet finish it to set the twist? That's always a big question. When I'm backpacking, I don't. I just spin it and I put it in the tapestry. I think next week with Jillian, we might be using a steamer to give it a little bit of a wet finish. And if people want to try wet finishing, obviously they can put it in their hotel sink and give it a go. So I guess the answer is sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If I'm at home and I've done some hand spinning for a larger tapestry that I'm really want to work out, like it's not just a sample, I will wet finish it. But yeah, depends. It depends, Kathleen. It's a good question. Oh, Elizabeth, this is a good question. Does the class, I think you're talking about the design class with yarn weights and set based on warp thread. That's a really great question. I have a little workshop class called What Makes a Good Tapestry Yarn, something like that. You could always email me and I could send you the link to that. That's a much smaller class, but it's just particularly about weft yarns and how to consider the set and what matches in different warps. And I think what you're asking, the better class would be this short workshop class. It has, I don't know, it probably still has 15 or 20 videos in it, but well, maybe 10 or 15 videos in it, but it also has a lot of resources about yarns. Feel free to email me too at my my website up there, tapestryweaving.com. Yes, and on my website, Elizabeth's also asking about, are there Canadian suppliers of tapestry weaving supplies? Canada is a tough one, you guys. On my website under FAQ, there's a resources page, and at the very bottom, there's a list of international suppliers. And so there's definitely some ideas there. And I always say, if you're on Facebook, ask in the groups, because there will be people who'll be like, hey, no, I like this, get it here. Brassard is in Canada. They make a good warp. So you could get that from them, BRASSARD. And I know, Karen, I wish Weaver's Bazaar were available in the US. You do have to order it from Great Britain. And the shipping has gone up since... I don't know, shipping changes all the time. I was going to say since Brexit, but I'm not sure that that's really the reason. But Weaver's Bazaar shipping used to be really low, and it's not bad now. I just ordered a big box of yarn, but it did cost $50 to get it shipped here. It was a lot of yarn, but yeah. Pigtails are, Corinne, that's a good question. Pigtails are, let me just show you so if I did a pigtail say this was the end of my yarn, I would pigtail it by doing this. So I've trapped the yarn where it goes around underneath, and then that gives it a little more security. I talk about that in my book also. I think there's a diagram and stuff. So if you don't have the Warp and Weft class or one of the other online classes, I show pigtails in my book. And I talk a little bit about different ways I use them. Oh yeah, Christine says Sweet Georgia Yarns in BC. That's a great one. They might have some stuff. And there's a list, that yarn class I was talking about, Elizabeth, talks about yarns you can get in Canada. there's a couple that work really nicely for Tapestry that are made in Canada. Cool. Yeah, I didn't actually pick this scarf, Marla. She says the scarf matches the Tapestry colors. It sure does. Look at that. I didn't pick it on purpose, but thanks. Well, you guys, thank you for coming. I appreciate you showing up to Change the Shed yet again and listening to me ramble on and weave. I know last time I saw you all, I promised this would be done, and here we are. So I am making no promises for January 31st, but I will be back, and we'll have something to weave. And hopefully in the meantime, y'all are weaving and you're having a happy new year. I should have said that at the top. Happy New Year. 2024. I'm slowly getting used to writing the 4 instead of the 3. Although I may not get the actual date right. So that's being self-employed. I rarely know what the date is. So when I get that wrong, please let me know. Some of you are very good at telling me, I think that's an error. I really appreciate it. Have a great 2024. I will see you all again in 3 weeks on the 31st for Change the Shed. And I'll see some of you in all of your other classes. Thanks for coming, y'all. It's been fun. Bye-bye.